Alright. Gonna continue from where we last left off, of course. We always do that. So, I think earlier we were talking about Amane's relatives and the trip to Tokyo that they went on last year. Well, she took Makina with her to Tokyo. Invited Amane, but, well, she invited Yuji, but he said he couldn't go because of his job. When I return to the dorm, Makina is still clinging to my back. Amane comes out to meet us with undisguised relief on her face, and for some reason all of her other classmates are waiting in the lobby as well. Michiru, a vaguely crabby expression on her face, peers over my shoulder at Makina, asks, "So she fell asleep after all," in a sarcastic tone. Then proceeds to poke at the girl's flabby little cheeks, mumble, "What a hopeless kid," and break into a smile. As for Sachi, she begins by offering me a polite bow and thanks for my efforts, then carefully removes Makina's boots one at a time, then puts them away in the shoe rack at the side of the door. In their place, she takes Makina's favorite pair of slippers, the so-called Terrible Twins, decorated with the snarling faces of two stuffed animal tigers, and slides them onto her feet. However, since the girl's still lying limp against my back, they flop right off and fall to the ground. Sachi picks them up and puts them back on, not that it works any better the second or third time. Clumsily earnest, as always. Maybe she'll figure out that brute force repetition doesn't compensate for a lack of strategy. Lastly, there's Sakaki. Her initially convincing show of indifference belied by a momentary glance away from the paperback in her hand. Once her eyes find Makina sleeping on my back, she snorts softly and returns her glance to the book. I think it's safe to say she was fairly concerned about Makina too, in her way. It's about 10 minutes after this little scene when the girl finally wakes up. Her eyes blink open on my bed, where I toss her soundly slumbering body as a temporary measure, and quickly find the large sack of melon buns sitting next to her pillow. Squirming out of the bed, she grabs the bag and scampers off to distribute them to the other residents of the dorm. Amane and Sachi express their heartfelt thanks in voices choked with tears. Michiru offers, well, I don't dislike melon buns, managing to convey sincere gratitude despite the standard veneer of arrogance. Even Sakaki softly closes her book with a quiet "I see," stares Makina straight in the face, says, "I'll accept that gratefully then," and proceeds to dig into the pastry right then and there. I'm honestly a little surprised at first, but come to think of it, I guess that's sort of her style. In summary, Makina's first day of part-time work, the subject of so much angst and anxiety, has come to a peaceful conclusion. And that evening, Sakaki graciously allows Makina and Amane to take the first bath. The moment the girl's out, she runs down to the lobby where I've been waiting for my turn, then drops herself onto my lap with a solid thump and turns to face the television set. Your lap seems to have been firmly established as Maki-chan's reserved seat, Kazami-san. As I answer Sachi's teasing comment with a wry smile, Makina grabs the remote control from the table. She then flips the channel for her favorite show. Tuna Fish Man, right? Probably gone off to tidy up the mess Makina made in the bath before Sakaki takes her turn. The girl really is quite the attentive servant. Just as Sachi's disappearing up the stairs, Amane enters the lobby in the process of removing her apron. You know, you two kind of look like a real parent and child right now. For her part, the way Amane is striking a conversation with freshly washed tableware in her hands is also oddly domestic. She's the very image of a housewife. Do I look that old? Let's go with siblings instead. Well, what can I say? You have that crotchety whippersnappers these days side to your personality, and Makina's really immature for her age. I guess the contrast works against you. With this pronouncement, Amane heads back to her room with a stack of clean plates. Who are you calling crotchety, punk? In the first place, it's not like I've experienced the world thoroughly enough to start passing judgment on whippersnappers. Surely Makina's unusually childish behavior is the more relevant factor. A good case in point, the girl's currently guzzling down a sweet milky drink, mesmerized by the glow of the television screen, completely oblivious of the world around her. It occurs to me that if you cut out this one moment in time, it'd look like a pretty happy little game of house. Honestly, I'm startled at my own behavior. Even though I understand this is ultimately nothing more than a make-believe game, I can't seem to help surrendering myself to its lukewarm comforts. Professor Dave is starting! Ah, so it is. What's the good professor doing battle with today? The professor in question is the host of the American documentary show, Professor Dave's Amazing Animals, a man by the name of David McAllister. This fearless individual apparently puts his life on the line on a weekly basis to provide his audience with reports on various dangerous animals. A formula that's proved highly popular with his audience of bloodthirsty children. That's wrong, as today's show is a special on the mighty shark. Clad stylishly in the tough survival gear of a seasoned adventurer, a Hawaiian shirt and cargo shorts, Professor Dave strides confidently along a beach, telling the kids in front of their TV sets all about sharks in a cheerful, enthusiastic monologue, periodically interrupted by some voiceovers that seem to be strategically covering up some overly frank observations. These last few years, sharks have had a lot of problems with their hunting grounds, so it's gotten less rare for them to wander down to the beach. We don't want our fun-filled vacations ruined by a shark attack, do we, kids? Not to worry. That's what Professor Dave's here for. Today, I'm visiting the Shark World Center to teach all you kids in front of the TV how to fight back if a shark bites you. Behind Professor Dave, equipped for his mission with flip-flops and a straw hat, an image of a large building appears with the words, Shark World Center in bold red letters. A voiceover informs us that the center is an institution that looks after injured sharks who find their way back in the shallow coastal waters, helping them heal and return to the sea. Soon the scene switches to Dave peering down into a massive water tank, where a great white shark that appears to be a good 5 meters in length quietly glides to and fro. How'd you like that? This is the great white. Huge, isn't he? Alright then, let's have him bite us right away. And as always, Professor Dave starts saying some crazy shit. Every time I watch this show, I end up thinking, isn't anyone going to stop this guy? This week is no exception, as Dave promptly leaps into the shark tank with the bleeding raw carcass of a cow clutched to his chest. Dave's amazing! You're so amazing, Dave! I could never pull that off. Yeah, let's not try. As if on cue, a disingenuous warning, clearly inserted by some long-suffering network lawyer, flashes across the bottom of the screen. Hey kids, never try this at home. That's a promise with Professor Dave. Then again, I sort of feel like any kid stupid enough to try this and imitate this should be firmly roped to a hospital bed in the first place. Looks like the shark caught the scent of blood. Here he comes! Seconds after Dave hits the water, the great white slowly turns his massive head in the direction of the bloody carcass. Then begins to steadily home in on the smell. The professor holds out the slab of raw meat to the approaching predator, who promptly takes a violent bite, beginning the experiment. This is crazy. What power! But you can't get flustered now, kids. A shark's teeth are sharp as knives, so if you panic and try to pull yourself free, you'll get badly injured. Don't panic, and take a look at this. Can you see, kids? Here are the little spots on the tip of the shark's nose. Right under there. The shark has an organ called the ampullae of Lorenzini. Just give him a good whack here with your fist. Professor Dave demonstrates by launching a vigorous rain of blows on the thrashing ichthyoid. His hearty battle cries partially drowned out by a series of electronic bleeps. Soon enough, he's beaten the beast into ignominious retreat. How do you like that, kids? Of course, you shouldn't go swimming in places where you might run into sharks in the first place. But if you're unlucky enough to run into one, don't panic and don't thrash around, even if he bites you. Give it to him right in his Lorenzini. Got that? Oh, I've gotten a little wiser in the ways of the world once more. Professor Dave really is amazing, you know? This show's as over the top as ever. But in the man's defense, Professor Dave's Amazing Animals isn't just selling cheap thrills. The latter half of the program always transitions to a serious emotional animal story of some sort. In fact, you could call the extreme experiments in the first part of the show bait Dave used to get the kids' attention, with the real heart of the program coming in the latter half. Don't touch that dial. Even the professor, currently flashing a cheerful victory sign to the screen, puts aside his cocky persona in the second half of the program, talking gently with an earnest expression on his face. The mini-documentary this week tells the story of a fawn that lost its parents at a young age. The camera traces the animal's struggle to get by on its own after its mother and father are eaten by lions. But in the end, it too dies, never having been taught the skills necessary to survive. Fairly harsh stuff, really. Still clenching the empty glass of Calpis in one stubby little hand, Makina stares intently at the screen, watching the little deer's final moments so quietly, she almost seems to be holding her breath. What? You're not gonna die. You'll leave me on my own, right? All of a sudden, the cheerful girl in my lap is hanging her head miserably, fat tears rolling over her cheeks. They're not tears of pity for the doomed fawn on the television set. They're the selfish, fearful tears of a child, comparing our own circumstances with those of that starving, lonely animal. You won't die, right? She repeats the words, her quavering voice pressing me for an answer. It's not like I can possibly guarantee that. No matter what I promise the girl today, I'll die when it's my time to. And yet, don't worry, I won't die. From what I read in those documents, Makina saw her own father die before her eyes when she was just a child. So I had no choice but to speak these words. Even if they're groundless, irresponsible lies, there's just nothing else I can do. Do I look like I'm going to kick the bucket that easily? I'll keep you safe, and I won't die no matter what. You have my word on that. Really? Yeah, that's a promise. But the words alone don't seem enough to earn her trust. Makina gulps down a big, shuddering breath and bites her lower lip, the tears still sliding down her face. Come on, seriously. How do I get you to stop crying? I was going to suggest go get some food, but that might work too. Crafty little twerp. Where the hell did she pick that up? Wait, as if I really have to ask. I turn my eyes upward in disgust, trying to burn a hole through the ceilings where Amane is no doubt humming obliviously and putting away her dishes. Alright, Makina, close your eyes. Okay. Standing the girl in front of me, I wait for her eyes to fall shut, then grab her firmly around the ears with both hands and bite vigorously into her head. He's eating me! Men are all wolves. Play around too much and you'll get eaten right up. My point made, I resumed grinding my teeth against Makina's scalp. Save me, Dave! Well, that's right. The Ampuli of Lorenzini! Take that! Even as I gnaw away at her cranium, Makina flings up her arms in desperate resistance. Poorly developed as she may be, the girl isn't a child, and although she obviously wasn't intending a full-force attack. One punch just so happens to land nicely on the bridge of my nose. Ow! Damn it, you little punk! I'm being stripped! What the heck are you two doing? Is your vision going already? We're playing the Men Are All Wolves game, obviously. Why are you taking off Makina's clothes? Because I'm a wolf. Because I'm a pitiful lamb. Well, they're still on, aren't they? What sort of rules does this game have? Want to join in, Chirichiru? Of course not. I haven't even taken my bath yet. Oh, so you're up for it once you get nice and clean? That's so not what I meant. Why the heck would I play along with this creepy rape fantasy? It's pretty thrilling, you know? Whatever. Fine, you can do it whatever you want. I'm going to take a bath. Why'd that girl get all red and angry all of a sudden? I don't get it. Don't ask me. Maybe that's just how tsunderes are. Or better yet, anyone when you just ask them to take off their clothes. Impromptu. Those tsunderes are sure a pain in the ass. Have to agree with you there. By the time our little routine finally winds down, the hour hands crawled past 10. Makina keeps watching television for a while after Professor Dave signs off. But soon enough she's nodded off in my lap. Her soft body, now completely slack against mine, is weirdly warm as always. Wish the girl could turn down her body temperature a little. Hold on to her too long and you end up overheated. What? Makina fell asleep? Excuse me, just trying to clear my throat. Not quite sure what got in it, besides some Coca-Cola. Yeah, I guess I'll go carry her to the room and dump her in bed. That already feels a lot better. When I lift Makina up off me, her head flops over like an infant's, limbs dangling down like the feelers of some torpid jellyfish. Ah, damn it. The girl's too damn limp, I can't get a decent grip. Well, Makina supposedly did ballet as a kid. Maybe that's got something to do with it? Ballet? I guess it's not surprising that the daughter of a filthy rich family might get a few lessons. Actually, Makina's a lot more agile and quick on her feet than you might expect. If she was trained in ballet as a kid, that might more or less explain it. Whoops. As I finally managed to hoist Makina up into my arms in the classic bridal carry, one of her stubby little hands clutches tightly at my shirt. Seems to be an unconscious reflex since the girl herself is still thoroughly out of it. You got caught. She might keep that up for a good 30 minutes if you're not lucky. Oh, and if you try ripping her hand off, she'll instantly burst into tears. Fantastic. Guess I don't have any choice but to stay next to her until she falls asleep for real then. Why not just get in bed with her like that? Can you not say things like that so casually? And while you're at it, do me a favor and stop teaching Makina weird crap. Like what? Girl tried this "I'll stop crying if you kiss me" number out on me. Sounds exactly like you, Amane. Oh, come on. Must you blame me for everything? I don't remember teaching her anything like that. Makina's brain is like a sponge, remember? Have to be careful, she'll pick up that nonsense before you know it. What's so funny? Somehow, you really do seem like a dad all of a sudden. In what respect? I don't know. The way you got flustered when she asked you for a kiss? That was just the common sense reaction to the situation. Really now. So what if I asked for a kiss? What would you do then? Take out my wallet and ask how much. Come on, even I'm not gonna demand money for that. You can totally kiss me if you want, okay? On the house. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Jeez, you got no guts, you know that? It's worked out for me so far. I carry my floppy bird into Amane's room on the second floor and deposit it on the bed. But just as I warned, a good 30 minutes pass without Makina's death grip on my clothes weakening the slightest. When the girl finally sinks into full-fledged sleep, her hand slips free. Seizing my chance, I quietly rise her from her bedside and return to my room. When women are in a bad mood, they eat nothing but salad for breakfast. A simple, viable rule of thumb I learned from my time with JB. Every once in a while, she'd stumble bleary-eyed into the room in her favorite cow print pajamas, scratching at her shaggy head. She then narrow her already menacing eyes to dagger-sharp slits and mumble, "Just salad for me." Of course, we're talking about Hadodera Yuria here, a personage renowned as Queen Hysteria in her professional life. In deference to that noble title, on such warnings, I would quietly resolve not to oppose her. But for some reason, we always ended up fighting anyway. Quite the mysterious phenomenon. What do you think you're staring at? Nothing in particular. Maybe blonde women are just cranky in the mornings by default? But then again, I guess Michiru is always more or less like this. Even if I went out of my way to be kind and solicitous now, she'd probably interpret it as condescension and flip out. That said, telling her to stop snarling at me for no reason probably wouldn't be productive either. Much less remarks to the effect of, "Go get laid for once, why don't you?" or "Your womb's going to shrivel up unless you get a little attention." In my experience, such frank but well-intentioned advice is only met with a flash of lightning-like wrath from above. In other words, the only winning move in this game is not to play. As my predecessor once put it, noble women and hysterical women will have their way. Don't get too worked up about it, and I've never had cause to doubt the soundness of her judgment in this matter. Accordingly, while the question, "Why the hell is this girl eating breakfast in my room?" may be floating through my mind at the moment, I judge it wisest to maintain my silence. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Sachi went out this morning. Are you telling me to skip breakfast and starve to death? Look, it didn't say a word. What the heck? If you have something to say, then just spit it out already. You're seriously pissing me off. Can someone please explain to me why blonde women all say the same damn things? You'd think they were all reading from one script. Don't tell me there's some sort of little red book for blondes secretly circulating among the fair-haired population. And they're all living in accordance with its teachings. What do you think of this bread? Pretty good, right? Oh, yeah. It's good stuff. Thanks again. I feel a little bad for just showing up all of a sudden. It wasn't a surprise or anything. Sachan came by my room last night and politely asked me to please take care of Michiru-sama's breakfast, you know? Huh? Seriously? In other words, Sachi predicted that the moment she left the dorm you'd go sponge off Amane like the helpless freeloader you are. Seems the girl knows you well. Shut up, you. I can cook just fine, alright? I'm just choosing not to. I see. Freakishly enough, I can remember JB once saying exactly the same thing. At this point, I'm about ready to wonder if that secret instruction manual really does exist. But if so, Michiru, my friend, I foresee trouble in your future. I see you drunk on cheap sake, lazily slapping together some home cooking, then coercively demanding, "Well, delicious, huh? It's delicious, right?" of your victims. On top of it all, I see you passing out on the sofa without bothering to put away the dishes or clean the kitchen. Yes, I'm afraid there's a good chance you're going to become a complete nuisance of a woman. What? What the heck? Since when can you see the future? Come to think of it, we did have that one little incident with you, didn't we, Michiru? I think you got inspired by some cooking manga or something. All of a sudden, let's all make dinner today. And before I know it, the kitchen's a complete mess. Remember that? But I did make the Salisbury steak just fine, right? Everyone said it was totally delicious. Well, it wasn't bad by your standards, but I ended up having to make the potato salad, and Sachan got stuck cleaning up that disaster zone in the kitchen, you know? Big deal, I totally did the cooking part just fine. Listen carefully, Michiru-chan. Cleaning up after yourself is a part of cooking, okay? Didn't they teach you in school the trip's not over until you're safe at home? Do you have to say that like you're gently lecturing a dim-witted 3-year-old? Come now, Amane. I think you made your point. In any case, it's interesting to hear that Michiru really can cook. I'd like to try that Salisbury steak myself sometime. Huh? Really? Excuse me, Yuji. Can you stop trying to wrap things up by feeding the girl a bunch of insincere lip service? What are you planning to do if Michiru swallows your nonsense and announces I'm going to make lunch today, or something? Sachan's not around today, and I'm busy myself, you know? Hey, Amane. I'm right here, you know? Could you be a little less ruthless, maybe? So where's Sachi wandered off to first thing in the morning? Didn't she tell you? There's a festival at the shrine today. Sachan went to help them set up. A festival, is it? When I was cutting through the area around the shrine on my run with Makina this morning, I did hear the sound of a group practicing with flutes and drums or something. They must have been rehearsing for the main event. Now that you mention it, Makina kept yelping Sama Zestival and Don Bans this morning. I assumed that was more of her cryptic nonsense and I ignored it, but I guess she must have meant Summer Festival and Bond Dance. No doubt. Shopping District is joining in on the festival as well. So Sachan wants to help them set up the tents and towers or whatever. And Makina's off at the chili dog stand her bakery setting up. I'm going to be heading out soon myself to help make the pork miso soup they'll be giving out for free at the children's events. Oh, pretty admirable contributions to your town for such an insolent bunch. Not bad. Yeah, I guess. Mihama Academy might be sitting on reclaimed land, but we're still part of our town. Well, I firmly approve of putting down roots in the broader community. Let me rephrase that. If we don't pitch in with this sort of straightforward community service, Mihama will probably get a reputation as some secretive school where God knows what goes on. I mean, it's not like our budget's coming out of the public coffer, so I doubt we get protested with Lassards hurrying eggs over the gate, but still. Putting a little effort into PR can't hurt. What the heck? Way to make me sound like the bad guy for not doing anything. I wasn't really implying anything. I mean, it's not like Sakaki's doing anything either, right? Well, Sakaki-san is sort of the sponsor, you know? There's tons of East Beach Group banners dangling from the streetlights in the shopping district right now. Can't miss them, really. So it's all good if you just throw a little money around, huh? Oh, and apparently the chairman of the shopping district asked her to be a judge for some singing contest they're holding this afternoon. You know, as a representative of East Beach. I guess she was planning to refuse at first, but never quite managed to work up the guts to say no. So yeah, I don't think she's just lazing around either. No. No, it doesn't cut it, Missy. If you got the time, come help out like the rest of us. There's tons of work to do for the children's festival, you know? You can make cotton candy and hand it out, or help give the kids with prize tickets an assortment of sweets. Oh, this year there's a goldfish scooping ticket too, so maybe you could be a goldfish lady? Michiru in one of those light blue happy coats? Might work for you. Yeah, go for the goldfish lady. You're a blonde, so the coloration works. And somehow I can really picture you as a Carney's daughter. You were trying to make that sound like a compliment, but I sort of feel like it isn't. No. Silent chicks that cost practically nothing to dumb kids really does seem like it would suit you. Or maybe running one of those semi-fraudulent die-cutting stalls where the prizes are entirely at the owner's discretion? Are you insulting me? You totally are, aren't you? Now, let's all just calm down. Come help me out later if you have some free time, okay? Yeah, fine. It's not like I've got anything better to do. I can't stand kids, but I'll help out anyway. What about you, Yuji? I've got nothing to do either, so I'll help out if there are any jobs where a little physical power might come in handy. And how about helping out Sachan? Setting up a tower seems pretty hard and all. Roger. In that case, let's finish up breakfast quickly and get going. Michiru, want to refill on that milk? Another slice of bread, maybe? It's pretty tasty stuff, isn't it? But incidentally, Makina's the one who made that bread. What? What? Huh? Seriously? I bought a bread maker yesterday, you know? Makina kneaded up a whole bunch of dough this morning. We tried baking some right away. Came out pretty darn good, right? So it's just the machine doing all the work then. Even I can make Tracy bread if I had a good machine. But unlike you, Makina cleaned up the kitchen after she was done. Ugh. Ugh, don't cut it, Missy. And so, having partaken of our morning repast, we immediately head out to assist the local festivities, with Michiru and Amane joining the event staff for the Children's Festival. They proceed to brandish sticks, and a group of innocent neighborhood children gather in short-sleeved happy coats. This forced these little captives to parade through the town dragging a float that must be over 3 tons in weight. This seemingly meaningless exercise in sadism, roughly equivalent to the classic dig a hole and fill it back up again number, does serve a certain purpose, namely helping those impressionable youths understand it's pointless to resist adults, and providing them an early introduction to the carrot and stick principle that ultimately governs our world. Still, from what I hear, Amane proved extremely popular with the kids, especially the older grade school boys. Most likely, a few local children were given a jump start on the road toward puberty, internalizing the sad law that governs our gender. Obey the breasts. In the meanwhile, my spur-of-the-moment assistance was directed toward the area reserved for the bond dance, where apparently they were eager for male help. I hurried to the plot of land being used for the purpose, still in my uniform. There I discovered Sachi, in full maid dress, despite the brutal heat, swinging a scythe around like a grim reaper made flesh. Straightening from her labors, she offered me a deep nod. The words "thank you for coming" spoken in the tone of a commander at Luzon greeting his reinforcements, and a sickle of my own, politely pressing me into immediate service. The tower for the dance itself was already standing tall in the middle of the plot, and the neighborhood council's tents had been set up. The only pressing business remaining was mowing down the weeds on the edges of the area. My allies in this task, apart from the indomitable maid already mentioned, included older ladies in sweatpants with towels wrapped around their head to ward off the sun, and here and there a few younger housewives in fashionable source gear and sun visors, looking as though they just wandered out of a yoga class. A wise man once said, "Our nation's greatest national security threats are the weeds that keep sprouting up on our maneuvering grounds no matter how many damn times we cut them down," or so I'm told. But it seems that this invasion of thick wild grasses hadn't confined its intolerable aggression to military targets. We have a word for those who invade our territory: enemies. Watched over by the blazing hot gaze of the sun, I quietly wielded my scythe in devoted pursuit of the national interest. Although I had my doubts about the slapdash approach of renting the venue on the day of the event itself, after about 2 hours of reaping, we got ourselves a perfectly respectable venue for a bond dance. With all the construction work complete, the council was just beginning to test its speaker equipment. Having returned our tools to a nearby storehouse, Sachi and I accept some canned soft drinks from a plastic pail full of ice, then soothe our parched throats as we towel the sweat off our foreheads. Allow me to express my personal gratitude for your assistance, Kanasami-san. Thanks to you, we were able to finish the preparations well ahead of schedule. Have to say, though, waiting until the day of the festival to mow the ground strikes me as a little reckless. Well, even if you mow the plot a week before the event, the weeds will simply grow right back again. And the shopkeepers all have their stores to attend to, so this neighborhood is fundamentally lacking in male volunteers. Makes sense, I guess. It's rather unusual for a young man to offer his assistance, so the members of the Women's Association were quite grateful to you, Kasami-san. Mowing down weeds is one thing I'm used to. Not a problem. Incidentally, several members of the association asked me if you're my boyfriend. And what did you tell them? I answered, please don't spread it around. How about denying it? Then again, if she just shook her head with those expressionless glass bead eyes and said no, just a classmate, I'd probably end up feeling pretty melancholy. The human male is a pretty selfish creature. Oh, if it isn't Makina, haven't seen you in ages. Since this morning, specifically. Reunited at last! You weren't cheating on me while I was gone, were ya? Well, huh? Caught me red-handed. I was just now flirting around with her friend Sachi here. Say what? We were only talking, actually. There wasn't any real cheating involved, so... Well, if it isn't Sachin you're messing around with, I guess it's cool. Seriously? What are you up to, Maki-chan? Already finished at the bakery? Oh, look at you, blatantly changing the subject. Kasami-san, would you please explain to me why I always feel the need to inconsiderately blurt out things better left unsaid without even trying to phrase things somewhat diplomatically? Maki-chan has officially sanctioned your adulterous urges under the condition that I be your partner. So why not try putting aside that apathetic facade for once? Come, let us mess around together. No kissing and no going all the way. What the hell are you saying? Yowie! Don't say stuff like that to Sachi. She'll take it seriously. What are you going to do if I wake up tomorrow morning to find the girl sitting on her heels at my bedside with a box of tissues in her lap? Alright. I guess that'd be stealing one of Amani's jobs, huh? That's not the issue here, okay? For one thing, even Amani isn't quite that convenient a woman. If such a scenario is to your liking, Kazami-san, I don't particularly... Okay, stop squirming around and blushing. Don't take her stupid jokes seriously, alright? I have my hands full of the Amane. I'll pass on any more sluts in my life. Was somebody talking about me? Oh, if it isn't Amane. What a coincidence. I was just mentioning how I don't need other women with you around. Okay, I get the feeling you've twisted the conversation in a self-serving way, but I guess I'll let it slide this time. You finished up with the children's events already? For the time being, I think we've helped as much as we can help. How about you guys? Sachi and I helped get the venue set up. Went pretty smoothly. I finished up my shift for the morning, and the afternoon person showed up to take over, so I'm done too! Okay then, guess we should return to the dorm for now, take a bath, then get into our yukata? Oh, yukata role-playing time, right? Let's do the evil magistrate game while we're changing. Just like last year. Damn, sounds like fun. Let me pull on your sashes too. I hate to interrupt while everyone's getting along so nicely, but... Where's Michiru-sama and what is she doing? Ah, right. I completely forgot about her. Come to think of it, Bottle Blonde isn't around. What's her deal? Hey, it was actually a huge help having Michiru with us, you know? She was doing her don't get the wrong idea thing every time she handed out candy. The kids just loved her. I guess we're in a tsundere boom these days, after all. I mean, the children were seriously going nuts. They kept running after her, yelling, Michiru! And then she'd turn around and go, excuse me? Who said you could use my first name? I don't remember becoming your girlfriend or anything. Of course, that just got them even more fired up. They were all over her. You wouldn't believe it. So, the girl got a little carried away. Put on this giant goldfish costume and tried performing an original dance outside the scooping booth. No idea what she was thinking. Ended up getting heat stroke. Right now, I guess she's probably cooling off in the kiddie pool, having electrolyte solution poured down her throat. That's an extremely serious matter. What's the deal with Chibichu anyway? At this point, I'm really leaning towards something being seriously off in her cranium. The scene flashes before my eyes. Michiru stretched out limply in a giant goldfish costume, half submerged in a plastic kiddie pool, kids dumping water overhead using plastic pails. I feel like this might have actually exceeded surreal and looped back around to become something of a pleasant little image. I think I'd like to check up on Michiru-sama. Where is she at the moment? You know where the children's hall is, by the side of the shrine? They're doing the goldfish scooping over there, so I think she'll be off near night in the shade. Understood. Well then, if you'll please excuse me. Sachin's a real worrywart, ain't she? Maybe she just wants to watch Michiru flopping around weekly. I wouldn't mind seeing that myself. Oh, you're gonna amuse yourself by dumping water over her face, right? I'm a little interested as well, you know. We can all look at Chiro going glub glub and say har har hardy har. Sounds like fun to me. Are you people them demons or what? What, you're not coming along? Too bad. Guess we'll have to go by ourselves, Makina. Let's get going! Papa, buy me one of the ice creams that snap in the middle, okay? We can split it! Very well. I guess I'll buy Michiru and Sachi some while I'm at it. Hey, are you trying to leave me behind? Wait up, I'm coming too! We conclude our slightly hectic afternoon by retrieving Michiru. As expected, she's thoroughly transformed into a water toy by the local children. Then we temporarily return to the dorm to ready ourselves for the festival proper. As the first hint of twilight begins to creep into the sky, the squawking of birds returning to their nests fills the air. The sound's abruptly washed out by the rapid popping of a 5-stage thunder firework, reminiscent of a bursting mortar shell. A notification that everything's gone off as planned, marking the official beginning of the festival. Look at me! Look at me! Oh, Japanese clothes really do suit a stumpy little bar like you, don't they? Is that supposed to be a compliment? Here, let me get a better look. Hey, you got this thing on pretty well, don't you? Did Amani put it on for you? Makina's yukata has a pre-tied sash, so it's not too hard to get it on. Oh, does that mean your sash is the real deal, Amane? Well, duh. Where I come from, you can't get away with the pre-tied version after grade school, you know? By middle school, you'll get laughed out of the festival unless you show up with a real one. Oh, my pride's in tatters, you know? Hey, it's fine in your case. That thing suits your height and figure best anyway. And you're always messing up your yukata anyway, so a looser sash is perfect. Well, whatever. I guess it's all good. Easier to slip it off that way, right? Also, Amani's wearing panties and she's got a towel wrapped around her tummy. But I'm going totally commando, you know? Another advantage! Sorry, what exactly are we supposed to be competing at here? Anyway, as a materialistic modern kid who hasn't even tried to learn a thing about our religious heritage or whatnot, I gotta admit, I don't have a friggin' clue what this here festival's supposed to be celebrating or whatever. But if nothing else, I'm no slouch when it comes to enjoying my festivals to the fullest, you know? I don't really get it, but you certainly do seem pretty fired up. What's with the goldfish pattern on yukata, Makina? Is this your way of harassing me? Oh, it's Chiru. Slept off your goldfish hangover? I wasn't goldfish drunk in the first place. I got friggin' heat stroke, and frankly, I've seen more than enough goldfish for one day. Oh, Amani picked out this yukata for me the other day. See, look at this. Makina's sash has a round, fluffy part in the back, just like ribbon tail. Pretty cute, right? In combination with those pigtail spoilers and the cylindrical design of the clothes. It kind of resembles a vectoring nozzle. No doubt it'll prove useful for precision maneuvering in a zero-G environment. Stirs the male's soul. Yes, great. I was asking if it looked cute, okay? I see. You look cute, Makina. Huh? Really? Yours looks great as well, Amane. I'm honestly impressed. Huh? Yeah. Thanks. And as for you, Michiru, the usual outfit, I see. So what? It's not like I've never worn a yukata before, okay? I just happened not to bother today. What? You want me to wear one that badly? Is that it? I wasn't really telling you to put on one, just saying. More importantly, where are the other girls? Yumi-chan went out a little earlier in a yukata. I don't really get it, but I guess she's pouring drinks in a tent where a bunch of local big shots are gathering. She slumped out with a super bitter look on her face, though. And getting weighed on by a woman with that sort of scowl just gonna make the sake taste bad. Geez, poor girl can't even enjoy a festival in peace. Well, when you got a family like that, you just gotta deal with it. And what about Sachi? Why are you looking at me? I mean, I do know where she is, but still. Sachi's going around locking up the dorm since everybody's gonna be out at once, that's all. Speak of the devil. It is I, Komini Sachi. Same old maid uniform, huh? Won't deny I was a little curious to see how Sachi'd pull off a yukata, but I guess I should have known better. What are you saying, Kazami-san? It may initially appear to be a mere maid uniform, but looks can be deceiving. This summer model was designed to facilitate action in tropical jungles, offering unsurpassed protection against heat and... No, it's fine. You don't have to say the whole thing. I give up. Go wander off to Saipan or Guadalcanal or whatever. Okay then. Everyone's gathered up and all, so let's set out for the festival. Yeah! Roaring like a paratrooper leaping out of a plane, Makina slips into her Geta sandals and bursts out of the dorm, clattering noisily with every step. Oh, come on, if you run, you're gonna fall, you know? Amane hastens after Makina, a wry smile on her face, and the rest of us follow her lead. Maybe the primitive rhythm of drums and flutes naturally stir up the human heart. The shopping district, now transformed into the venue for a festival, is crowded with unusually lively people. Summer Festival! Okay, look. How many times do I have to tell you it's summer festival? I mean, why'd your words always get all mangled up like that anyway? Look it! What's that? Hey, jeez, come on. I keep telling you not to run. Where are you going? I thought she might become a little more mature now she started working part-time. But it looks like Makina's still just a child after all. Oh, and are you an adult yourself, Michiru-sama? Well, I suppose it depends on how you define an adult. I think people have different scales of maturity. But at the very least, I don't get completely delirious with excitement over a few festival booths. Well, it'd definitely be a little weird if you started running around shrieking with Makina, but that's a little thin as justification for this whole big sister act. More than anything else, the comment reveals Michiru-sama's astoundingly low standard of maturity. Nice try! I'm not enough of a kid to flip out over a cheap insult like that. Oh my, you truly have matured, Michiru-sama. I would never have expected such a remark from an individual who was only this morning pulling along afloat with the children, laughing and shrieking. To think, you matured so dramatically in only a few short hours. It's almost as though you're a completely different person. I'm deeply moved by your rapid personal growth. But that's not true! I'm me, alright? Hey there, Yuji. Got a second? You know this stuff? It looks like apricot candy. What about it? This is pretty clearly a candied plum on a stick, right? So why do we call it apricot candy? I don't have a clue. Why don't you try asking the guy running the stall? I did. But all he said was, can't say as I know. That's just how it is, little lady. I guess that's how it is then. Why are you so curious about this all of a sudden anyway? I mean, Makina asked me and I couldn't come up with a decent answer either. Well, I'll look it up later and let you know. Speaking of Makina, wasn't she with you? Where'd she go? She's gone! That girl wandered off by herself again! Honestly, for someone who's supposedly so afraid of strangers, she's weirdly adventurous. Has Maki-chan disappeared? Nothing to worry about. I'll track her down in no time. You just enjoy the festival. Right. Why don't we adults recline leisurely under a parasol and sup on shaved ice? Frappes! That's a refined way to enjoy a festival. Why don't you just rephrase that mid-sentence? Come on, are you really going to point that out? Have a little pity. In other words, you think refined adults are better to shave ice as a frappe? Michiru-sama? Yeah. What? You have a problem with that? Not a problem, per se, but do tell me, how would you describe an individual eating shaved ice? In English, please. Shaved ice? Is that even a real thing? English? Kaki... Guru? You just added to the end of kakiguru, which is not an English word, incidentally. Frapper. It seems there are some adults with truly astonishing English skills in the world these days. I do believe my perspective has just grown slightly broader. Shut up already! Shaved ice is shaved ice, right? Who cares about the flapperons or whatever? Yes, quite. Well then, why don't we partake of some flapperons under your parasol? What flavor would you like, Michiru-sama? Mookie! Don't treat me like a kid. I want the melon flavor, of course! Yes, melon it will be. Shall we go then? Hey now. Somehow watching these two lately makes me think of a middle-aged man who walks up to the counter at an electronics store and vaguely demands a cell phone in an almost angry tone of voice. And the veteran sales clerk who gently handles the situation with a tolerant smile on her face. In the first place, flapperons are an aircraft control surface that function as both a flap and an aileron, and have nothing whatsoever to do with frappes or shaved ice. More importantly, where did the Mani and Makina go? It's Tuna Fish Man! I want that! What now? Oh! A stuffed animal, huh? I'd like to get it for you, but I'm not too good at this sort of thing, you know? I mean, you actually want that gross-looking toy? Seriously? Who you calling grotty, punk? Tuna Fish Man is high-grade fresh fish. I don't know what you're talking about. Isn't that thing just a big tuna with arms and legs? It really is grotty. Hey, you two, something up? I guess Makina wants that grotty stuffed animal for some reason. I told you not to call him grotty. I'll knock you upside the Gulliver, dingbat! Sorry, can you talk in standard Japanese? Like I said, Makina wants that tuna thing. A tuna? Amani points to a shooting gallery booth set up nearby, indicating a specific toy set up on top of a garish red platform. A strikingly creepy plush tuna, frozen in the act of carving open its own stomach with a knife, stares back at me with the eyes of a dead fish. Tuna fish, man, eh? Pretty well made. Pretty well made. There's death in those eyes. I know, right? Just the sort of eye for quality I'd expect from my papa. I don't have the slightest idea what's so good about that thing, personally. A mom who randomly decides her kids' toys are garbage and tosses them away without asking ain't never gonna understand. What? Come on. When have I ever thrown away your toys? This woman's seriously forgotten. How about just the other day? You mistook my DSP game for Thrash and threw it away. But come on. How was I supposed to know that tiny little thing was a game? The video games I used to play were more like those big cassettes, right? You know, those clunky ones. Clunk, clack. What century were you born in, Amani? Games these days are all discs or cards, you know? I can't help it, alright? I haven't played video games since elementary school. And it was just some cheap one my dad won as a prize for hitting home runs at the batting center. Not that I really care, but weren't we talking about this tuna fish doll here? That's right, that's right. Tuna fish man! Get him for me! Please! Like I said, I'm not much good at this stuff. My eyes aren't that great, so it's hard for me to aim straight. How about you, Yuji? What about me? You know this sharpshooting thing. Any good at it? Sharpshooting, huh? To be honest, it's definitely a strength of mine. In fact, you could call me something of a specialist. But Makina says she wants the doll, so get it for her, okay? Show off your skills for me, Papa. Showing off would be easy enough, but that's no good. Makina, my friend, get the toy yourself. I'll teach you how. What? Isn't this the sort of thing we keep guys around for? Don't be spoiled. I'm not going to let Makina turn into a woman who just sits around waiting for someone to drop everything she wants into her lap. People like that are trash. Seize the things you want with your own hands. That's a rule of mine. Another friggin' rule, huh? Alright, Makina, get over here. I'll teach you. Yeah! Hey, Pops. We're going to play around. You're a pro, aren't you, buddy? I can tell from your eyes. Sorry, but we don't call it in sandbaggers here. Don't go jumping to conclusions there, friend. I'm not playing. This shrimp is. Assume that's not a problem? The little miss, huh? Well, I guess that's alright. Hey, Tack, I had 300 yen from the coin purse in my pocket and slid it across the counter to the old man manning the booth. Okay, so that's supposed to be like what looks like a sniper rifle, right? Alright, Makina, listen up. The distance to your target is a mere 1.8 meters. Practically point-blank range. There's effectively no wind. I can't ask for better conditions than this. Even a drugged monkey can make this shot. You've been provided with 5 rounds of ammunition. You have permission to expend the first as a test shot. Use it to get a feel for your rifle's personality. Keep in mind that bullets have been paid for through punishing taxes on your countrymen. One 5.56mm sets them back 300 yen. One 7.62 is 350 out of the public purse. Snipers aren't permitted to waste their bullets. Understood? Ninja! Alright then, as a rule, fresh recruits like you should aim for the chest, not the head. It's a bigger target and less likely to shift on you suddenly. Much easier to hit. When using a small rifle without optical augmentation, you have nothing to rely on but your long years of experience and your instincts. But unfortunately, you happen to be completely lacking the former. But then again, we're dealing with a completely static target here. Even an amateur can manage that. And you've got an excellent spotter. For now, believe in me. Alright then, here's your first round. Stuff it into the muzzle without leaving any gaps. Air will leak out of even the smallest crack, throwing out her trajectory. Load your weapon with the greatest possible care. I choose a piece of cork that appears to be well balanced from the small dish of bullets the booth's owner handed me, then pass it to Makina. The girl accepts it timidly, aligns the tapered end with the muzzle crown of her little gun, then carefully pushes it into place with a sharp squeak. Loaded and ready! Very good. Next step, pull the lever back as gently as you'd caress a woman. Compress the piston and engage the sear. Clear! Excellent, now aim your sights toward the enemy. Hold the group steady in front of your dominant eye and assume a shooting stance. Right shoulder, good. Left shoulder, good. Hold position to fire. Ready to fire! Not yet, keep your finger off that trigger. First draw a rough beat on your target with your dominant eye. Once you've set your line of fire, inhale deeply. From this point on, no response will be necessary. When you've drawn as much air as your lungs can hold, Breathe out 80% and hold on to the rest. Now hold your breath. Alright, listen up. From this point on, don't worry about aiming. It's pointless. You'll make your hand shake if you try. Just visualize that bullet striking home. Got that? You are going to land this shot. Think of your friends. Think of your hometown. Think of your country. And when your heart is full to the brim with determination, wrap your finger around the trigger. Cold and serene as frost falling on a winter night. And fire. Miss. Ah. Jeez. There's no time to be depressed. You figured out the quirks of your gun and its ammunition, yes? Now change your sniping spot before they have time to counterattack. But you're shooting a static target. It's not gonna counterattack. But this is a little idiot. What kind of a suicidal fool sneaks up behind someone in the middle of a firearms training session? Yeah, sorry about that. I'll keep quiet, so hurry up and finish, will you? Alright then. Makina, load your next round. No matter how skilled you may be at something, imparting knowledge to others is rarely as easy as you might think. However, Makina possesses both a surprisingly excellent memory and fundamental mental flexibility. Just as importantly, when there's something she doesn't understand, the girl asks for clarification instead of pretending to follow. And above all else, she has a truly passionate desire to improve herself. Teach her the first step and she'll end up learning the next 10 on her own. This off-the-cuff instructions, the fundamentals of marksmanship, is no exception. The girl's visibly sucking in my every word like a sponge absorbing water. As her instructor, it's a refreshing feeling. But in the end, Makina is equipped with a toy gun, completely unreliable wedges of cork. The first 4 shots sail wide off the mark, leaving her with only the final bullet, usually reserved as insurance against being captured alive. Last bullet. It all comes down to this one shot. I don't have anything more to teach you right now. Believe in yourself and pull the trigger. Hit! The cork bullet slaps on the tuna fish mantle on its lower right flank. A kidney shot. Unbalanced by the impact, the toy spins wildly around the platform, and just like that, it falls off the ledge with a satisfying thump. Hey, you're not done yet. Show some respect for your target and follow through properly. Slowly breathe in until the air in your lungs is completely replaced, maintaining careful awareness of your surroundings. Here you go, little lady. Congrats. Tuna fish man is mine! You guys finally done? Amane, you're unbelievable. Here the girl is, triumphing through her own hard work, and you're paying more attention to eating a hot dog in the most suggestive way possible. But I was kinda hungry, you know? Don't run your damn tongue around the thing. Look, Inavani. I got it all on my own, you know? Oh, nice work, Makina. Looks like you got some talent as a sharpshooter. You think? To be certain you've got an eye for it. Well done, Private Irisu. Just the sort of skills I'd expect from my daughter. If you want an Arashino badge, I'll write you a letter of recommendation. Thank you kindly, Colonel! Just to be clear, I'm not actually a colonel or anything. You two really like your Army Rangers game, don't you? I mean, what kind of a parenting style is that, anyway? I'm getting a little worried about how the girl's going to turn out. Come quickly, everyone! This is terrible! Michiru-sama has... why are you so worked up, Sachi? Something wrong with Michiru? Well, where could I even begin? Calm yourself. Start with the one thing you want to say most. Michiru-sama is an idiot! Yeah, I think we all know that by now, honestly. It's so obvious that no one really bothers to spell it out, but... In other words, you're trying to tell us that Michiru has made a complete ass of herself yet again? Exactly! Ah, speaking of eggs, they were selling some fried egg okonomiyaki over there. Want to go get some? Oh, sounds good. Let's go. Come on, people. At least try to be a little concerned about Michiru. So what exactly happened, Sachi? Explain the when, where, what, and why as concisely as possible. Yes. Well, just now, at the venue for a shaved ice speed eating tournament, Michiru-sama began to shovel down shaved ice with all the vigor of a workhorse. Then suddenly clutched her head, let out a cryptic shriek to the effect of "Q" and fainted. I'm gonna guess brain freeze, right? Seems plausible enough. Incidentally, human beings really are creatures of constant growth. I'm no longer even surprised by that level of eccentric behavior on Michiru's part. But on the other hand, Michiru hasn't grown the slightest, has she? I got a bad feeling that girl is a Darwin Award in her future. I mean, why was Michiru even participating in a tournament like that? I don't understand her exact motivations myself, but for some reason, She declared herself a top-class Kakigor and offered to accept any challenge. To be perfectly honest, none of it made the slightest bit of sense. In other words, she started acting like the champ on the basis of nothing but her own completely unfounded pride. According to Michiru-sama, she was no mere champ, but rather the champ among champs. The champest! Then again, I couldn't begin to comprehend what she was trying to say. So, where is she now? She was carried off to the medical tent, where they covered her in blankets and soaked her feet in warm water in an attempt to raise her precipitously lowered body temperature. First it's heat stroke, now it's hypothermia? How much of a pain in the ass can one woman be? Come on, no need to be so harsh on the girl for the moment. Why don't we go check up on her? Like so, our hectic but profoundly memorable visit to the summer festival rolled on to the night. And when the hour hand moved past 9, as the bright lights around us began to dim, we made our way back to the dorm together. Fortunately, Michiru's shaved ice overdose led nothing more than a diagnosis of moderate ice cream headache. After warming up, she was promptly released from the medical tent. It's hard not to grumble about this constant parade of false alarms, but I guess that's sort of Michiru's identity, so it's hard to get pissed off about it either. Okay, I just tucked Makina in. Yeah, thanks. I'm guessing she didn't give you any trouble? Out like a light the instant her head hit the pillow. The girl's still hugging that tuna fish man doll, you know? Drooling all over it and mumbling in her sleep. She must have been really happy. Makina spent most of the night frolicking around at maximum intensity, but just as the end of the festival was approaching. As for battery had run out of juice, the girl abruptly dozed off with a choco banana still dangling out of her mouth. Of course, that's a common enough occurrence, so nobody was particularly flustered. I hoisted Makina's limp body onto my back, and Amane proceeded to eat the rest of her banana with a great deal of unnecessary slurping and licking. Come to think of it, the way Amane polished off a half-eaten snack covered in Makina's spit without even hesitating, you'd think she really was the girl's mother. Or maybe just a glutton to the core. What was that? No, it's nothing. Talking to myself. Well, more importantly, take a look at this. I found something interesting in Makina's purse. They're the strips of paper she wrote her Tanabata wishes on. Those are wishes Makina wrote during the Tanabata festival last year, when we were visiting my grandma in Kyoto. What's with this? She made 4 separate ones? Greedy kid. It is Makina we're talking about here. I could see her getting the idea that Tanabata is just Christmas in the summer, what with decorating the tree and all. Don't tell me she hung up a whole list of wishes expecting Tanabata claws to make them happen with no effort whatsoever on her part. Actually, she made 5. But we only told her to hang up the one she really wanted to come true, or the effect would get spread too thin. These are the ones she left behind. I turn over the strips of paper in my hand one by one, reading the wishes scrawled across them. Infinite mountains of bread. I want to learn to ride a bike. I want a white puppy. I want to play with fireworks. I don't know about this one with the bread, but the others are actually pretty respectable. Don't you notice anything about those? Like what? Out of these 4 wishes, you made 3 come true, right? Every one except for the white puppy. What were they again? Mountains of bread? Yep. I want to learn to ride a bike? Yep. Playing with fireworks? Yeah. What? Infinite bread isn't a dream now. She's learning to make her own. And she can ride a bicycle just fine now. And the fireworks too. You did that with her when we all visited the beach together, remember? Now that you mention it. So all you have to do is buy her a white puppy and you'll complete the set. But what about that 5th wish she actually left on the tree? A dog, huh? I'm willing to put out half the money, you know? Oh, and I'll talk to the principal about permission too. That's not really... What is it then? Gay puppies? Not really, but I decided not to own another dog. Sorry. Did you have a pet die when you were a kid? Well, something like that. I see. Guess I can't ask too much then. Should probably try and get over that, but I'm not quite there yet. Sorry. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Going around granting all our wishes that easily might be a little too convenient anyway. By the way, what was Makina's wish this year? Is it really okay to tell you that? I'm not really trying to force it out of you. It's not like I need to be secret about it, but... While we're on the subject, what do you think Makina's #1 wish was last year? The one she actually hung up on the tree? No clue. I want huge tits, maybe? Not even close. She wrote, I want a papa. That's something else. I know, right? When I saw that, I couldn't help crying a little. But you know, looking back on it now, she's got her hands on a father named Kazama Yuji. Maybe Tanabata wishes aren't just for show after all, you know? I guess. This is Makina's wish from this year. Why do you have that? The girl messed up on this one. We hung the one she rewrote in a little bamboo tree on the veranda, then burned it like you're supposed to. Let's see. The slip of paper I accept from Amani has 4 words scrawled unsteadily across it. Stay with Oni-chan forever. I see. Misspelled forever, huh? And back during Tanabata, you were still her big brother. In other words, she wished to be with me forever. Yep, how do you like that? Feel a little happy? Well, I guess. Are you embarrassed? Aw, so cute. To be certain, the way Makina's taken to me inspires an awkward variety of happiness. But on the other hand, I find myself bumping right back up against the crucial question. How long will I really be able to stay with her? Well, I intend to be around for her as much as I can. Try your best. I'm sure you came to the school carrying lots of baggage of your own, but for as long as you're here, at least, play along with a make-believe game, okay? Sounds about right. Averting my eyes from Amane's steady gaze, I reflexively glance into the corner of my room with the black cell phone I carry for work. Part of that baggage I'm still forced to lug around. I'm struck by the sudden urge to snap the damn thing in half, but I know perfectly well that smashing a phone isn't going to break the chains around my neck. I don't know how long I'll be able to stay here. I could be gone tomorrow. But still, as long as I'm in this school, I think I'll do what I can. It was back in elementary school that I first realized I didn't hate running. I think I'm actually going to stop here for now and take a break. Yeah, I think here's a good place to just take a break and then just pick it up probably tomorrow. And just continue. Right, so yeah, pretty much stream's over.